This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome back. In this session, I will show you about Anypoint Studio. Let's go to extracted location of Anypoint Studio. Double click on anypointstudio.exe file. A pop-up will come and it will ask us the workspace. What this workspace means? We are going to create the projects in Anypoint Studio and those should be saved in file location. The area we store whatever the projects we create inside Studio is called as workspace. I am just taking as Mule training workspace 1 and click on launch. The Anypoint Studio is look like same as Eclipse. MuleSoft has installed several plugins into Eclipse and they supplied that as the Anypoint Studio. Whenever we create new workspace, a additional pop-up will come and we just need to click on continue to studio. If it is a new Anypoint Studio, then you can click on go to workspace. Click on continue to studio, maximize it. If you observe, we have left section and middle section, right side section and bottom section. The left side section is useful to see what are the projects. Suppose if I create a project, the project will visible here. The section is called as package explorer section, or we can call it as project section. And right side section is called as palette section, where all the Mule connectors will be available. And the middle section is called as canvas, where we usually drag and drop connectors from palette section to canvas. And the bottom sections are useful whenever we drag and drop a connector to the canvas. We need to fill up the properties of each connector. Those properties will be shown here. Apart from that, here we see Mule properties tab, problems tab, and also whenever we create a project and we deploy it and we wanted to see the logs, whenever we deploy, a console window will be generated here. In console window, we would able to see the logs. Currently, we are not able to see any connectors over here because we have not created any project. Whenever we create a project, by default, a Mule configuration file will be generated and that is visible in this canvas. We just need to drag and drop the required connectors from palette section to the canvas. Let me create a simple project. To create the project, go to File, go to New, click on Mule project. Let me give the project name as sample. Click on Finish. As I told you, once the project has created, it will create a default Mule configuration file called sample.xml. Yes, whatever we develop in Mule, all will be generated as XML files. And also the project contains lot of folders. We will see what is the significance of each folder.
This conference will now be recorded.
The project has created. Now we can able to see the project at the left side. Even we can minimize it and maximize it. It has generated with these many folders. We will come back about each section. Before that, if we observe here, a Mule configuration file has generated called as sample, which is same as project name. We would able to refactor it as per our requirement. Just right click on it, go to refactor, then rename. We will see these in coming sessions. For now, let keep it is same as same. Now, the right side also we can see the palettes are generated. Not only these palettes, there are lot of palettes, nothing but lot of connectors available in Studio. And if you see here, this section is called as favorite section, and it is showing that add modules. If I click on add modules, it will show me what are all the connectors available. I mean, what are all the modules available. Don't confuse here. If we see the database module, and if I add this to favorites, directly always whenever I open this workspace, I would able to see this here directly. And this is the module called as database. In that we have these many connectors. Or we can directly go to palette section. In the search, we can write whatever we want. Let me put JMS. Now we can see JMS module and their corresponding connectors. Here what I am trying to say is we would aware of all the connectors provided. Then we can have one question, Chinna, how we can remember all the connectors. As I told you in session 1, we would able to make integrations using web services, then JMS, then SFTP, then database, then file, and system-based connectors, correct? So to develop JMS operations, we go with JMS. To work with database operations, we go with database. And to work with SFTP, we go with SFTP. And to work with REST services, the module called as HTTP. We go with HTTP. For now, remember these connectors. After finishing this course, you would able to understand what are all the connectors available and what are all the connectors can be used in development. Okay, and this is the canvas where we usually drag and drop the connectors. For now, just remember only one connector, and in coming sessions you would see all the connectors. Just mouse click and drag and drop here. Now if I open this, it will show me the properties it was expecting. So here I can write some message. So this is how we drag and drop the connectors from palette section to canvas. And if you notice, this is called as a flow. Don't worry about it. We have upcoming sessions about types of flows. There I discussed about flows and subflows, everything. For now, just remember we are dealing with a flow. Here we have one dotted line, and before this dotted line, it is called as event source. And right side to this dotted lines, this will be called as event processor. And also this is called as a flow. If you see here, this is a message flow. In message flow, we would able to see graphical representation. And right side we have configuration XML. Whenever we drag and drop a connector from palette to canvas, that corresponding XML logic will be generated here. If we would want to do any changes in the backend, also it can be doable. We can come to configuration file. If you wanted to do some change, we can do here also. And one more section is there that is called global elements. Don't think much about global elements now. In coming sessions, we are going to deal with global elements in most of the videos. So for now, I can say that global elements is the area where we usually create the reusable configurations, and those can be useful among flows, because there is no rule that one project should contain one flow. It may contain multiple flows. If it need reusable configuration, then the global elements will be reusable among the flows. Don't worry about it in day one. In coming sessions, we are going to understand completely about these global elements. Now coming to the project structure, here we have source main mule section, where usually all the flows we create will reside under here. And we have source main Java. Sometimes we might need to keep some Java files. So whenever we want to keep or create Java files, we use source main Java. In real time, unnecessarily writing Java code is not recommended. 99.5% of the times we should go with the mule flows. If there is any out of bound scenario, then only we have to deal with Java files. Don't worry, here you can get a doubt, should I learn Java? No. In team, definitely there would be a Java developer. So whenever we get this kind of rare scenarios, those resources can handle those things. So we can concentrate on learning MuleSoft. And coming to the source main resources, by default it has log4j. The log4j basically to make use of logger to write some messages in console or in the logs. What is this? If you see in C++, Java, in C++ we use cout to write something on the console, right? In Java we use system.out.println to write something on the console. In similar way, we use logger connector in Mule to print something on the console. Don't worry, we are going to see. For now, remember the source main resources contains log4j file. Coming to the API, as we discussed the API life cycle, there we have design phase. In design phase, whatever we create, those will come under API section. Then source test Java. Whenever we keep some Java files, basically in real time, we recommend test driven development. Whenever we create some files in source main Java, those test cases will be created under source test Java. In similar way, whatever the flows we create under source main Mule, we need to create MUnit test cases for those. Those will reside under source test MUnit. And coming to source test resources, the way we have source main resources, the source main resources, whatever the properties or any files or anything needed to supply to the flows, then we keep under source main resources. This is the location by defaultly known to the all flows, so that whatever the files we keep under source main resources, it would able to get easily. In real time, we deal with property files. Those property files will be kept under source main resources. By the way, don't worry about all this now. I'm just introducing this, but we are going to work with each and every section in coming sections. Even though you get some doubt now, but once you finish this course, whenever you finish video one by one, then you would able to understand each section in depth. And these are the libraries that will be generated automatically. And coming to the source, this is the duplicate of the source main section, and it includes all main test dot class files here. So even though we develop as Mule configuration file, corresponding dot class will be generated. Coming to the target section, basically whenever we deploy this application, a jar file will be generated. This jar is called as deployable archive, that always will be generated in the target folder. Coming to Mule artifacts JSON, it contains the information about which version of Mule we are using. And in Mule 4, all the projects are of Maven based projects. If you are new to Maven, just explore about Maven little bit, even though I will be covering that. But for now, you want to explore, you are welcome. So basically, this is a building tool which build our project, and also we would able to supply the dependencies dynamically. Dependencies means if the project required any jars, those can be supplied dynamically using pom.xml. There are a lot of things can be doable through pom.xml. For now, I don't want to confuse you. In later sessions, we will see that. That's all about this session. I hope you get good overview about Anypoint Studio. Thank you. Happy learning. See you in next session.